of Chicago and the difficulty he faced having two brothers killed, living in 11 different homes in 10 years, and the daily struggle of life in a self-contained special education classroom. He will talk about how mentoring gave him the courage to go into college and be accountable to his commitments in life. He is now the program coordinator at Confernce, which is a mentoring program serving 6th through 12th graders in alternative schools in Springfield, Illinois. He's also a facilitator for youth leadership workshops designed for special education and foster children. He's also a producer and host for the Confernce Cable Show, which is a mentoring documentary educating community on foundation, strength-based, and legacy mentoring in Central Illinois. So, please welcome Jeffrey Fields.
Good morning. I am really excited to be here because you mentor a young person, you are taking a journey with them, and you are celebrating their potential for who they can become. And when you think about mentoring in terms like that, you can't help but to get excited. I'm very selective on where I speak. You'll find out as I present my presentation. But when I was asked to do this, I feel really excited because not too many people get to share their passions in life. And so in order to do this, we're going to take this journey backwards. Because to understand my passion for what I do now, you have to understand how I got there. I am from the Humboldt Park area, grew up on Division and Thomas, and growing up, I was poor. How do you know you're poor? You know you're poor when you know 100 ways to eat bread. Ketchup in bread, mustard in bread, mayonnaise in bread, garlic bread, cheese bread. You know you're poor when you're having one bowel movement a week. Every 4 or 5 days you have nothing to eat. You know you're poor. Food is more important to you as a kid than video games. You know you're poor when your lights and water are cut off at weeks at a time. You know you're poor when you see a car people put toilet paper on as a prank, and you go snatch the toilet paper off and use it as your own hygiene. You know you're poor. But poor wasn't the hardest thing for me to put in check, because many people grew up poor, and today they have some kind of financial stability. Growing up, we had high mobility. We moved around a lot. You know you move around when you live in 11 homes in 10 years. And whether because of a foster kid, being evicted from can't pay our bills, living on the street, or just going to live with grandma. That wasn't the hardest thing to get put in check, because a lot of people experience those things and now have some kind of shelter stability. Growing up, I had 2 brothers killed. My brother Jerry was killed when a neighborhood drunk ran him over. We were outside playing. My brother Clarence was killed when he was in a different neighborhood, wolfing at someone. He pulled a gun, he got jumped, and then during a street fight, he got stabbed. And as difficult as that was, it left me feeling angry, frustrated, and confused, because my brother was my protection. Once they were removed, I had nothing there. And as difficult as that was to put in check, I was able to do so. And it wasn't the hardest thing to overcome, because a lot of people have experienced violence in their life, whether victims or perpetrators, and went on to live a life of peace. Growing up, my parents were abusive. It wasn't enough to beat me with a belt. My mom had to strip my clothes off and beat me with a extension cord. And if you ever got hit with an extension cord, it's like being hit with a knife. And there's something shameful about being stripped of your clothing. It took away a little of my humanity. My dad was abusive, more toward my mom than us. And we were the protection. One occasion, my brother was shot in the hand when he was trying to protect my mom. Another occasion, my dad tried to shoot my mom with a shotgun. As my brother pulled his arm, the gun got pointed at my sister's head. As he pulled the trigger, the gun was a jam. But I remember clasping my ears, and I fell to the ground, and for 2 days, I trembled. And what happens when a young person experiences that kind of trauma, It affected my respiratory system. Internally, it put me in a heightened fight or flight mode. And when that type of trauma and a young person not dealt with and supported, it turns into emotional and psychological impairment. But as difficult as that was to put in check, I was able to do so. And a lot of people have experienced abusive parents, and they went on to live a life of peace with their own children. The hardest thing for me to overcome was when I was placed in a special education classroom when I was labeled emotionally disturbed and learning disabled. Why is that the hard thing? What is the hardest thing for me to overcome? Because during my research and in my studies, I have not found others. What I have found people who've been poor, people who've been homeless, people who've been foster kids, people who've been abused by their parents, people who've been on the street, go on to work blue-collar, white-collar jobs. So where are we? Well, here's where mentoring programs come in. Because when you're labeled emotionally disturbed and learning disabled, that label is conditioning to fail. Mentoring programs need to teach young people that failure is not a person, it's a situation. And that situation doesn't define you. So therefore, you are not to live by the way you feel. And that is the message that we are lagging in getting across to young people. So today, I'm going to give you the facts behind this. And I hope that you have a paradigm shift in your thinking when it comes to mentoring this population. There are over 6 million young people classified as special education in this nation. Over 6 million. Placed in 13 categories with 3 levels of need. Mild, meaning they need resource help. Moderate, several years of special education service. Severe, lifelong learning issues. And I would place this in the severe category because I'm dyslexic. Another thing, across this nation, the national graduation rate is 76%. For LD/ED students, we're at 35%. Just 35%. Fact. Nationally in 2007, schools suspended or expelled 26% of the regular ed population. LD/ED students, we were suspended or expelled from school 74% of the time. Fact. Reading comprehension across the nation, 60%. Emotionally disturbed students are at 21%, learning disabled 13%, and us LD/ED students, we're at 7%. Reading is very important. Several years ago, the Department of Education in Minnesota did a study called Watershed. Reported that 90% of all first graders, when entering school, they liked it. When tracked, those same first graders, when they're in 6th grade, only 10% like school. Their report states that reading is closely tied to a young person's self-esteem and view of education. Out in California, do you realize the Department of Correction based reading on the number of prison cells they're going to develop? And the way it works is simple. They take the number of 3rd graders in the state who cannot read and base the number of prison cells on that. So if 93rd graders in the state of California can't read, when the Department of Corrections sit down to build, no matter how many square feet, they're going to make room for 90. Because according to them, if you're not reading by 3rd grade, you're going to end up in jail. Across the nation, 70% of LD/ED students are in correctional facilities. 70%. We are 3 times more likely to be arrested before leaving high school. When we do drop out of school, 73% LD students will be arrested within 5